So for this tutorial, I'm doing what is, I suppose, best described as reverse writing. It's creating the illusion of writing. So I'm just going to create a standard full HD document. It'll open up with everything I need to know, and give it a second. It zooms right in because it's on this screen. It's 1080p. No, yeah, 1080p. So what I'm going to do is first up is I'm going to reduce the screen size down to something viewable. So show frame. So it drops to 49%. The reverse writing tutorial itself is actually kind of easy. The trick is, and I'm just switching to a little bit of sketchy here, is I want to start from basically a fully written something, whatever that is, right? But I need to animate it actually being written. And so running from, say, let's say frame 1 through to 60 is just a thing. I want it to look like it writes. So the trick is I actually animate it backwards. So this is time, and this is me doing stuff. And it's really, that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to get rid of this lot, all delete, or Control A and delete, and let's just start this. So there are two ways of doing reverse writing. There is handwritten, which I'm just going to double click and label that layer, and there is also text. Whoops, I'm just typing randomly and triggering keyboard shortcuts. All right, I want them both to run through to the end of the timeline here. So I'm just going to select, frame 60 and insert a frame. Or I can actually click and drag, but I'll just, insert a frame because it's easier this time. So in the first case, we're dealing with handwritten. So I'm using a graphics tablet for this one. I'm going to select the brush. I'm going to make it something a little more legible. 10 point, does that look good? Yeah, that should be okay. Control Z to undo. So, my name. And there's this huge spelling problem, so let's just fix that. Name. Whoops, that M is useless. Anyhow, so you can see there, it's all set out. Now, if I need to make any adjustments at this point, I can click or double click on a piece, and I can either drag, once I hover it, I'll get the four-ended arrow, and I can either drag it around to sort of fix it up, or if I double click it, I can use the arrow keys on the keyboard to slide things around. Something worth knowing. Anyhow, now into the animation tutorial itself. So here, this is the finished product where I want it. And in this case, I'm going to zoom in, Control Plus, and hold down the Shift key so I can focus in on the animating part of it. That way it gives me a bit more control. But jumping back 1 frame, I'm going to insert a keyframe. What it does is it's basically just copies the previous frame into the current frame. Now I can go back another 2 frames and I can erase a bit. So just using the eraser tool, and here's just mouse, and it's a nice big eraser, so that's good. And when you get to the edge of a piece that crosses over like the E here, be really careful, because hopefully it'll smooth it out and make it relatively good like that. Otherwise, you can run into problems. Anyhow, I can then insert another keyframe and jump back in time again. I'll do this a couple more times just so you can sort of see the effect. And I'm trying to do it reasonably quickly. The trick here is I'm animating on 2s, so 2 frames and heading back, then delete a bit. Well, given I've got, 6 letters and a bunch of time, let's go insert a keyframe and then drop back 2 frames and then erase a bit, insert that keyframe and then drop back. So you can notice the pattern of what I'm doing here. It's a fairly simple sequence. Don't like how that ended up, so let's try and shape it a little bit. Because if I was to do this forwards in direction, it would not turn out anywhere near as good because of handwritten, I've got that sort of flow to my characters and that sort of stuff that you'd commonly expect. And in this case, I can then emulate that. So if you look here, boom, 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 all right? And so, at this point, I'm just going to rush through and finish this, and we'll skip forward in the video so you can see what's going on, but I'll just get this piece done. So that's the whole thing done. Oops. Yep, spacebar to hold that. And you can see it here jumping across the screen as it splats across. Fairly simple idea, but you know, if we hit play, play, you can see it happen. That's pretty good. Now, the actual text one, basically it's an identical process. So, the first trick, with one slight trick. Anyhow, I'm going to select a piece of text. It's got my text tool enabled. Comic Sans, the perfect font for all manner of stuff. And I'm going to go my name. That's fairly good. Is it big enough? Well, probably not. Let's make it a little bigger. So we'll just slide it up. Or wait, we'll just select the whole piece of text, then start sliding it up. Can we go bigger than 96? No, we cannot. So, yeah. All right, so I'm going to shrink this down so it's done. And now that's a piece of text. And you'd think, yeah, great, I can just get the eraser and rub a piece out of it. Yep, great, and it doesn't erase. The trick here is that this is recorded as a piece of text, a font, and you can't edit it unless you modify it and go through with break apart. Break apart once will separate it into individual characters. Doing it again will separate it into a graphic you can then edit. So just like the previous process, I'm just going to insert my one keyframe here, so that's my end state, and then go back 2 frames and I will adjust it. So zooming in as before, and again I'm going to fast forward up this chunk of the video so that you don't get completely bored by me doing this. Here's the blank screen, and if we scroll across, my name appears. Woohoo! You, of course, can write your own name because you're perfectly capable of doing that. But there are 2 alternative techniques here for doing the same thing. What I've looked at this time is the brush tool up the top here, which is that one there, the eraser tool, and of course then the text tool, and converting that text into something you can use. Now that we've done the project, and I probably should have done this first up, save. Gee whiz, I'm just going to call it it's reverse writing. Reverse writing with all possible English spelling mistakes that I can include. And then I need to export it. This is normally a little bit of a trick, but yeah. My cat again. Export video. All right, media video. And this will give you a name. You can give it a name in here. I'll go export. It does this file size. This will open up Adobe's media encoder, which will then convert it to an MP4 file. This gives you a little chunk of video to work with. Hopefully that'll pop up in a second. Yes, there it goes. It'll then drop it into this one and automatically convert it for you while trying to, when saving it. Go on. Oh, kittens. Anyhow, that is now done. It should either automatically disappear or you can minimize it or close it. My project is being saved, and that is it. Thank you for your time.